Are you ready to grow your audience? Today we talk with Stefanie Gass, and she is a podcaster and also a clarity coach, and she's going to teach us the secret to sales and profitability in your business and the one thing that you need to prioritize if you're ready to finally see results. She tells us how she was able to up-level her audience, increase her profit, and keep strict boundaries to her work-life balance. If this sounds like something that you've been looking for in your online business, then you are going to need to listen to this episode. It is so amazing, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Welcome back to the Multipassionate Mompreneur podcast, where we choose to focus our energy, embrace our strengths, and move toward the compelled businesswomen we were meant to be. It's time to free ourselves from the chaos and the constant stream of ideas and build a life of impact and joy that honors our hard stuff, that makes meaning of our losses, and that helps us to make an impact in the world. It's time to finally take our power back and gain the follow-through that we've been desperately needing, while also learning to leave the swirl behind. I'm Angel McElhaney, motherless daughter, self-discovery junkie, and not so master juggler of my crazy crew. And I believe you can have it all. So put down that to-do list, grab that coffee, and let's get to work, one day at a time, together. Welcome back to this episode of Multi-Passionate Mompreneur. Today we are speaking with Stefanie Gass, and she is the #1 Christian mompreneur podcaster who is helping moms like me and like you to really break through with some clarity work. And then, of course, today we're going to be talking all about the trust tiers. So I believe that this is the key that so many businesses really are missing. And so I'm really glad that you are here to kind of just unveil that and how to build that and without being salesy. So welcome to the show, Stefanie.
Well, hello. I'm so excited to be here, Angel.
I'm glad to have you on again. If you guys haven't checked out the other episode that we had Steph on, you need to go check it out. It's absolutely amazing, and it is all about niching down, which I know is so hard for us. And I love that in that episode, you weren't telling us that we couldn't have all the passions. We just had to have them one at a time. And so I do know that I've had to implement so much of that, and it's just been such a great tool to kind of work through a lot of that. Really, it is kind of inner work.
Yeah. It really is inner work when you try to look at what am I created to do? And as just multi-passionate humans, that's such a hard thing to get to. But the beauty of kind of what you and I discussed on that other episode was you don't have to do one thing forever. We just really want to get honed in on one thing at a time. Otherwise, we're extremely distracting. We're distracting our audience. We're not growing one demographic because you can always expand. But if you start from a place of everything, you never grab hold of any one. So we have to start somewhere with one core common denominator of who you're called to serve and how. And that's what we talked about in that other episode. So that's a perfect segue into what we're talking about today as well, which I think, Angel, how many times do we hear, how do I grow an audience? How do I make money at this thing that I'm doing? I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? Do you hear that all the time?
Yeah, I feel like everyone wants to make money, but they don't want to feel spammy or salesy, and they're almost trying to find out this mystery way of how do I make money at doing the thing that I love without feeling that icky feeling. And I think that you do it beautifully, so I'm excited to see what all tips you have. And I love how you do it. You have this system, the trust roadmap, that I think just kind of takes us through the big picture of what it is we're actually doing. And in that, I feel like we can really see how we're serving our audience. And when you realize you're serving them, then you're fine with charging them, which I feel like is the missing piece.
That's absolutely the missing piece. We skip, and this is normal. So we're not pointing fingers at anyone here. This is so normal. And if you didn't do this, I would be shocked. But what we do as new online entrepreneurs, whether we're in direct sales, network marketing, coaching industry, selling a product, is you go directly to, oh, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. How do I make money? That's the very first question that you're asking yourself. I get it. Okay. I totally get it. We want to contribute to our households. We want to feel worthy. And for so long, we've tied worthiness to money. And so that's where we begin. But the problem with that is no one's going to buy from you, okay, if they don't trust you. If they haven't gotten a free result from you, don't expect to make money from people. And this is the missing piece. This is the secret. So if you guys are taking notes right now, write down the secret to sales and profitability in my business equals trust, service, and free content. That is the secret. So I'm going to walk you guys through something that I call my trust tier roadmap. There are 3 tiers to becoming extremely profitable in your business. And this works no matter what you guys do, which is the great news. Here's what you're not going to like. It is not overnight. This is not overnight success. I'm not going to promise you any get rich quick schemes today, because all of those are built on a castle of lies that is like going to come crumbling down around you. And you're going to be like, why did I do that get rich quick thing? Because none of those actually work. Take that from me, 8 years as a full-time entrepreneur, okay? I didn't get it until 3.5 years ago. And what I finally got was, instead of creating things and trying to sell more things, trying to come up with a new sales strategy or a new funnel or pay for this or pay for that to bring in more advertising, I realized, oh my gosh, it's not about that. If I want my girl, and I call her Lola, my avatar, to buy from me, I need to get her a transformation. I need to give her something that she can actually chew on, like something sticky, a real solution that she can implement, get a result, and she's going to come back for more. And so I tested that theory and I started doing lives in my Facebook group. So all this started with my Facebook group, and these lives were doing so well. People were like showing up and they were resonating. But I was like, what am I selling? I didn't know. I just started showing up and giving away free value. And I made the choice to give away everything. Did you hear that? I did. Yeah.
Someone out there is worried about, well, if I give them too much, will they still buy my stuff?
And the answer is yes, every single time. Because when you give and somebody sees a result, they then come back and say, okay, you gave me these ideas, and some people will run with it and they'll never hire you. And that's amazing. What a gift that you've brought to the world. But I'm going to go as far and say that 50 to 60% of people need your implementation. They want you to hold their hand. They need accountability. I think 90% of the battle is just accountability in and of itself, like making me show up for myself, being there with me, guiding me, giving me the community that comes with a course or the community that comes with coaching or a mastermind or whatever. So you can't give too much away. That's my opinion, but it has proven itself a million times over. And I'll walk you through the trust tiers of how that happened. So giving away all the free stuff in the group. And then I kept praying over, what am I meant to do to serve more women more quickly, and so that I can scale my impact? And of course, so I can also make money in this business, because I think that we have to get away from feeling guilty about making money in our business. Because if we have a gift to share, there are people that are screaming for our solutions, and you should charge for the gifts you've been given that get other people a transformation. Like, we got to get over the fact that that feels weird, because it shouldn't. And I had a dream one night, and I heard start a podcast. And I really feel like it was Holy Spirit direction, because I had been praying so intently on how do I do this on a bigger scale? And I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, start a podcast. Okay. I've got this crinkly, crackly old mic that's like in this drawer. It was $20 on Amazon. Didn't know what I was going to talk about. I had named my group the Mompreneur Mastermind on a whim. No real thought or strategy behind that. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just keep the same name. Just signed up for a podcasting host, plugged in this staticky microphone, Angel, sat down and like asked God what I was supposed to say. And I just shared my story. And that was episode 1. And it was in October of 2018 that happened. And until that point, I'd been kind of floundering. I would sell things, but then it was like, what else should I sell? This isn't like, I don't know. And so I was so distracted all the time. I was creating one thing that I thought people wanted. I was sometimes going live. Like, I was a mess. I wasn't fully committed to one thing, one person, one vision. So what happened was, after I started the show, and then I'm going to explain to you how this fits into how you can do this based on these trust tiers that Angel and I talked about, is I started the show and I committed twice a week I don't care if it's Christmas. I don't care if we're in a epidemic, a pandemic. Who knew? I'm still going to do 2 episodes a week. I don't care. I'm just going to give it away, and whatever happens, happens. And what's insane, in 1 year of podcasting, not changing anything else, nothing else, podcasting and then driving people to my Facebook group through my podcast, I grew my audience organically by 100,000 women. 100,000. Oh my gosh. Then in a year and a half, my revenue, my actual sales profit exploded by over 1,600%. My income has tripled, quadrupled from where I started with my show. And now I'm coming up on 2 years of podcasting in October. I can't believe it. I'm like, how is this my life? I work Monday through Friday morning only. I delete the apps every single weekend. I do not take clients after 5 p.m. ever. I'm super balanced. 60% of my income is from products, passive products. I'm not showing up for it. They're courses. And then the other 40% are meeting with incredible, I believe, God-sent clients and masterminds. It's like, isn't that the dream? Angel, would that not be the ideal? If you're like, oh my gosh, if I could do that in 2 to 5 years, that would be the goal.
Well, and there's a air of like, just like calm. Do you know what I mean? So when you're chasing the next thing, it takes a lot of energy, and yes, it's exciting, but then you get like that, the fall of the energy, you know what I mean? Because it's exhausting. Instead of going in one direction with all the energy, we're like bouncing back and forth. I just want to back up, because I do love that you were saying that basically you're giving away all your content of what you're doing, but then they hire you for the how, right?
Exactly. Right. So I teach podcasting, right? And then we're going to get into trust tiers, I promise. I teach podcasting. Why? Because podcasting is the catalyst. Podcasting is what grows an organic audience. And then funneling it into the Facebook group is what converts. That's what converts people into a higher level of trust, getting to know you, exclusivity, and that's what will convert. And so the how though is, but Steph, how do I start a show? What is it called? What would I talk about? How do I monetize it? How do I pitch what I sell inside my show? What's the format? What's the strategy? People can't get over the how. Well, I can't teach them the how on a podcast episode because it's different for each person. So I do coaching and I walk people through creating the podcast brand. And then I have a course for the tech, because ain't nobody want to teach tech every day, right guys? So they take the course and they go through and learn how to create the podcast. So the implementation is the paid, it's the coaching and the course for that visualization. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so basically your podcast is what is at the top, where you are building that credibility and you're serving. And then the second tier would be your Facebook group. And basically that's kind of when you start hearing back from them, which I think is going to be huge for those of us who are like, is anyone there? Hello?
Yeah. So let's walk through the trust tiers now that you have this visualization. So trust tier 1, what does it mean? It means people are in the Apple app, the podcast app, and they're searching for something. So maybe they're searching for multi-passionate mom, okay? And Angel's podcast comes up. Okay, this looks good. They click on Angel and they listen to her podcast. She now has a trust tier 1 listener. This trust tier 1 person doesn't really avidly trust Angel yet. They are still getting to know her. They're listening to her show. They are absorbing information and then they're implementing. Let's say that they heard Angel talk about cyclical mapping and they implemented it into their business and they saw a transformation. Oh my gosh. Then Angel says, by the way, if you guys aren't part of the community, come and join the Facebook group, the Multi-Passionate Mompreneur on Facebook. Well, now she's collected this new listener. The listeners had a transformation by listening to Angel's free stuff. They come over and join the Facebook group. Now Angel has a solidified trust tier 1 person. What is the difference between listening to the podcast and then being in the Facebook group? The podcast is where we push information. We are pushing information with no reciprocation, if that's a word. Like there's no back and forth. So you're teaching something and you leave it, which is so great. Hello. Cause like we want to show up, record an episode, right, Angel, while baby's napping, like hair's a mess. Like it's really, really convenient to push content on a podcast. But then what? What about this new person that's like, I want to tell Angel that her cyclical mapping episode changed my life. I want to tell her. Well, Angel just said, come talk to me in the Facebook group. So this person goes, joins the group, and Angel's so brilliant, and she's created all of these strategies for growing these massively engaged groups. She does it for me. She's incredible, but she's in the group now, and this girl is showing up in there. Angel, I listened to your episode. It was amazing. Angel's talking back with her. She's watching Angel's lives. And then Angel says something crazy. She says, hey friend, hey guys, guess what? I've got a Facebook engagement accelerator course. This is going to help you explode your Facebook group, drive engagement, inspire organic audience growth, and then create leads. I just launched it. P.S. She's actually creating this right now. I just launched it. If you guys are interested in this course, just drop me an emoji. If you want to explode your Facebook group, drop me an emoji. And this new girl who listened to Angel's podcast episode then came over to the group. Now here's about Angel's course. She drops an emoji. The Hail Mary hands. She's like, I need an Angel. Angel then gets in the DMs with her, sends her the link to buy the course. Angel has now converted this new listener to Trust Tier 2. What does Trust Tier 2 mean? It means that that person who trusts you, who has seen a transformation from you, who believes in who you are as a leader, as a coach, as a mentor, whatever it is you do, they will now spend between $100 and $500 with you. Okay. And this could take 7 to 15 times, hear me, 7 to 15 times of you selling something before they actually buy. Normal. Okay.
Well, and you have to let them know that you're selling something, because I was actually talking with a friend just today, and I was like, well, you got to make offers, or even just, of course, you don't want to like spam your group or even your stories or any of that, but there should be about, would you say like 20% of the time, like let people know what it is you offer and what you do? Because even you've said you've had to be like, I do coaching, guys.
I know. No, I think it's 75% of the time, Angel. I think every time you guys are showing up to go live in your groups, 75% of the time, 100% of the time, you need to tell people what's the next step, because you're giving away something for free, right? They're like, okay, if Angel's going to go live in her group and talk about Facebook, how to explode your Facebook group audience, and she does a free live on that training, and if she uses it on her show, Angel needs to say, by the way, if you want to explode your engagement like this and implement all of these strategies I taught you, you need to buy my Facebook Engagement Accelerator course. If she doesn't say that, how does anybody know that Angel has that course? How does anybody know that that's the next step? We have to talk to people like on an elementary level, like, hey, I do this and I have this for you if you want this. So yes, you're right, but it's a lot. Like, you think people know what we do. We think people are watching us. They're not. They're busy. They're distracted. So I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Like, I'm a coach. I have a podcast course and I do masterminds. I feel like I'm constantly saying it, Angel, but I know it's not enough because people are like, what do you do? I'm like, are you serious? So overdo it. And you overdo it in a fun, casual way. Sure. Like some examples for Angel, just because we're on that visualization for you guys. Angel can say, how many of you wish you could explode your group by 10% in 30 days? Or how many of you are frustrated with the lack of engagement in your group? And she does a poll. Okay. Here's a testimony from Stefanie Gass. I've helped Stefanie Gass explode her actively engaged audience members in 90 days from 800-ish, I think it was, Angel, all the way over 2,200 in 90 days. How many of you want a result like that? So she's asking these leading questions, but they all allude to her course, which she once a week talks avidly and openly about. I have this course. This is what's happening with the course. This is what's in module 1. Here's a testimony from the product. Like directly selling her course, but then other days of the week, Angel's driving focus points back to that product. Does that make sense, Angel?
Yeah, I love that. And I love that really you can utilize the dialogue you now have in the group with asking the questions to literally be solving their problems in your course. So then it definitely doesn't feel salesy because it's like, oh, you had this problem. Well, here's the solution over here. So
Yes,
go and pick it up. So
exactly.
So I love that part. So should you pivot? So you mentioned the dollar amount. So the big part of the picture, the big circle that's podcasting or your large funnel is all free stuff, right?
Yes.
And then the second part is your Facebook group. And that is where at the same time you will probably have either coaching or a low point. Is there a certain price range you said about what, $100 to $500?
So Trust tier 2 is when they'll spend $1 to $500 with you. Doesn't mean, ladies, I want you pricing anything at $1. It's just a visualization. So I think you really have to think about, what is this result worth to someone, right, Angel? Like if you were to say, hey, if I could grow your actively engaged members from 600 to 2,200, what is that? That's like 1,500% growth or something. Like, if I could do that for you, what would that dollar value be worth to you? Like, what would you pay to learn that strategy? Well, people are going to tell you like, oh my gosh, well, I would pay $97, $297, $497 for that. I always end in sevens, couple reasons, but that's just me, like sales psychology. And I just like that number from the Bible. So I'm like 7, but I think you have to start with, what is it worth to someone? Number 1. Number 2, to ask yourself when it comes to pricing is, what's a no-brainer price? What's a price that they don't have to save for 6 months? They don't have to get the husband on board, right? It's kind of like I can do this now. That's where you should start, knowing that you can always scale up. And I recommend having a 3-month payment plan option that's a little bit more expensive. So for example, my podcasting course is $497. But they can pay a 3-month payment plan of $197, which is closer to $600. Why? Because it's worth the $500. It's worth more than that, but $500 all in, saves some money, but it is an ask husband kind of price, or ask your spouse. But the second option at $197, that's a no-brainer. She doesn't really have to ask permission for that. She can do that, and she can do it now. So having those 2 price point options for people is really great. A 3-month payment plan also, for my business, has a less than 0.05% default. So 3 months is like, people are going to make those payments, which is great. So I think you should, always ask yourself, what is it worth? No-brainer price point, and having a payment plan option. So something like Angel's product, you guys, since we're talking about that, I mean, to have someone fully strategize, show me the strategies to exploding a Facebook group, helping me come up with content ideas, how to do lead generation in the group, how to set up tags and about me sections that are going to get found organically, how to do channel art that's going to just set my group apart from everyone else, like how to create contests and giveaways and organic marketing, all inside my group. I don't know about you, but I would for sure, Angel, I feel like $497, $397 to me is like exceptional value for that. Some people may say less, but I know that you're launching this product at an insane price, not even that high, right? So Angel said, I'm going to go and I'm going to get social proof, and I'm going to launch this product at a price where everyone can afford it and see a result immediately. Super smart. Very, very smart.
Well, and I think that is the key then, because then you have you can see the people, once you have the group and you have the product and you're working right with them, you can actually see the solutions work in their lives, which obviously makes you all feel all fuzzy too. It's just like, you can see that they're like, oh, I stepped out and I made this podcast because maybe you just had this calling, maybe you learned something and you felt like you just needed to share it and help other people. And then you thought, you know what, I am taking so much other time working my other job, that wouldn't it be just amazing if I could just do this and be more present with my family and be able to still feed them.
Yeah.
And so then there's that whole idea of doing something that you feel like you are meant to do, but then being able to unapologetically serve and still make money without feeling that icky feeling for sure.
Yeah.
So
And
do you think we should pivot or change at all for the pandemic? I know that was a question that I've seen pop up sometimes. And do you think, like, obviously businesses are still going on, online is more than ever. And so how do you feel about that when it comes to these tiers, or is that still the same? Are you finding that we should be modifying or slowing down or speeding up, or do you think that goes into effect or a factor?
Absolutely. So here's the crazy thing. Okay. One thing I was told a long time ago by my stepdad, he's like, follow the cash, follow the cash. And I got that idea. And then I realized what he was really telling me was follow demand, follow demand, follow demand. Example, they run a glass shop. Well, once the pandemic started, nobody wanted glass, Angel. They wanted plastic for partitions. They wanted plastic in the school. And so what they did is they were like, follow demand, follow the cash. They pivoted their business model and immediately started creating plastic partitions. They could not keep up. They have had the hugest quarter of their life. And for me, I'm like, okay, what is happening for people right now? What do they need? Well, I realized that I needed to follow demand. And what people wanted was a way to monetize their podcast because, hello, pandemic, I'm at home. I got to build something online right now. I need a course, Stefanie. I need to coach. I need to do something now with this audience I've built. So I launched my mastermind program, Podcast to Profit. It sold out in like 2 days without a sales page. I had the hugest month of my life. And it's like, you just have to pay attention. What's the demand telling you from your market? And if you don't have a market, step one is you must have a way to create an audience using long form content. Like I teach podcasting, but you could do a blog, you could do a YouTube channel. You need to do something where you're showing up every single week, pouring out free value. Then you need to pay attention. Well, what's happening in this pandemic? So for Angel, for example, Angel can teach so many things, you guys. She's passionate about personality testing and cyclical mapping and motherhood and being multi-passionate. And she's now homeschooling 4 kids. Like Angel can do all the things. But here's what happened. In this mastermind, all of us were telling Angel, the demand is not mindset right now. The demand is not cyclical mapping. The demand is, Angel, I need to grow an engaged audience. There's crickets in my group. How do I do it? How do I strategically grow leads inside a Facebook group? And we saw this massive demand for Angel's market. She didn't deviate from who her niche is, which is this multi-passionate mom who's also running a business from home. She stayed in her niche, which is extremely critical, but she found one problem that is sticky, it's tangible, and we are creating solutions around one problem. And that is exactly why Angel's going to have a ton of success with her Facebook Engagement Accelerator course, because it solves the demand of today. And it's still a demand every day, but it's like really a big demand right now.
More than ever, people are online, but then more than ever, there's like people online. So it's like how to be found, or how to make people see your stuff, or how to just be a human and like have that face to camera type, I miss seeing people type of thing. So I definitely think that that's huge. And then, so what would tier 3 be?
Yes. So after tier 2, people buy something from you, right? So let's say this, people buy from Angel, her Facebook Engagement Accelerator course, and they see a result. Oh my goodness, their Facebook, just like mine, has exploded. They're having so much success in their groups. Like I can't even keep up with the comments in my group anymore. And you guys, it's insane. Like a year ago, I was totally ignoring my group. Crickets, nothing, no one, blah, boring, dead. And then I'm like, Angel, I'm hiring you to do this. And then so Angel came in, and her and I strategically working together, optimizing things. And then she took off with some strategy. She comes to me with ideas, not like 90 days, maybe 4 months now. And it's like, I don't recognize my group. I don't recognize it. It's amazing. So I am seeing a result, right? So let's say I had bought her course. I am seeing a result. The next step is tier 3. And this is where people spend between $501 and $3,500. Okay. And this is the next step. So in tier 2, I like to see entry-level coaching or a product, a course. I don't like memberships. We're not getting into that, but I personally don't recommend memberships for people with a small audience. And by small, I mean like under 100,000 people. It's just not worth your time to have that small amount of income, but a course is a higher price point and a deeper level of intimacy that you don't have to show up for 24/7. Okay. That third tier then is deeper implementation. It's a mastermind. It's working with other people. It's a retreat. It is a full coaching package. So someone might take Angel's course. Oh my gosh, I did everything you said, Angel, but can I hire you for like 6 months and you do actual strategy with me? You help me come up with a lead program. You help me come up with like a soft launch in my group. Like Angel actually comes up and helps strategize what's going to happen in the group to convert leads into sales. So that's where Angel could charge $1,000, $1,500 for a package or a mastermind. Eventually she wants to do retreats. So that's what's going to happen in that third tier. Here's the good news. Here's the good news. Everyone that buys in tier 2, okay, I don't care how much, they could spend $30, they could spend $500. They are 50% more likely, 50% chance they buy again in Trust Tier 3. Now, it may take them a year, but they will do it. I have proven that, right, Angel? Like you've gone through all my tiers plus some. So that's what's happening in Trust Tier 3, and that's the ultimate goal, but you want to go in order. So multi-passionates, let me wrap this up for you. What do you do with all this information? Number 1, you have to grow an audience. So you need to podcast if that's what your demographic wants. If you're talking to moms, if you're talking to busy people, Angel's going to put her link, her affiliate link for my podcasting course in the show notes for you. If you need help podcasting, if you don't want a podcast, do a blog or do a YouTube. Then you need a Facebook group. That's how you then drive the intimacy with the people listening to your show. You are going to need Angel's Facebook Engagement Accelerator course. She is building it now. It will be ready soon. You need to be on the wait list to get her special offer, okay? So DM her, ping her, send her a message, send her an email, and she'll get you on that list, okay? And what you're going to learn inside of her course is how to explode your Facebook group engagement, grow an organic audience, get found in the searches without doing paid traffic for your group, optimize using tags and setup strategies, how to then create leads in your Facebook group, and just explode the intimacy with your avatar. I'm telling you, this course is so incredible. I'm helping her build it, and I'm just over the moon. I love it. Okay, so there's that. Next step, once you've done all those things and you've grown an audience and you have engaged people in your group and you have people consistently listening to your show, step 2, which could take 90 days to 6 months, even a year, okay? So this is the long game. Long game always wins, is to create a passive product solving your avatar's problem. One product, start there, okay? You're gonna sell that. Then you're gonna think about, maybe 6 months later, is there a second product that they're asking for? Or do I want to go deeper with the audience that already bought the course? And that's typically what you're going to see. There's a way to continue to grow your product funnel. You go from this course, this one problem of Facebook group engagement, to then converting leads in a Facebook group. And Angel could run that as a mastermind, right? So you're going to follow the demand. That's what you're going to do. You guys ready to do that? Yes.
I love that you're telling them to be patient, but if they're not, if they're like, but I need to make money or I need to do this, then instead of saying sit down and just stick and stay, which we will tell them, but would you say that they need to like just do more content then? Like double down on episodes, you know, maybe be like you, like, well, do to 2 then.
More podcast episodes, more Facebook group lives, more Facebook engagement, not all the things, not spending money anywhere. But double down on the free value, because until someone sees what a result from your free stuff, they won't buy.
So I love that. And I thank you so much for coming on the show. Can you tell us before you go where all they can find you and check out your awesome group?
Yeah, of course. So you guys can come listen to my podcast, which is called the Mompreneur Mastermind Show, where I do tons of free coaching around clarity, what your spiritual gifting is, how you can bring that to life as a business using podcasting or courses, etc. My website is stefanigass.com. I've got freebies over there. I've got ways to connect with me. And then come laugh with me in my Facebook group, which is bit.ly/success support group.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on the show. And until next time, I just want to remind you all, you are strong, you are capable, and you can do the hard stuff. Wishing you joy and abundance, Angel. Hey mama, are you tired of the crickets? I wanted to invite you to a special 2-day workshop. We are going to do this over in Multipassionate Mompreneur, and if you are tired of being ignored, if you feel like your message is falling on deaf ears, if you've created the blog, podcast, or YouTube channel that you know that she needs, but you just simply can't get her to answer you back, if you're ready to accelerate your engagement, meet me over at Multipassionate Mompreneur. We are starting this Facebook group engagement growth hack workshop. Tomorrow is the pre-challenge. Monday and Tuesday is going to be our workshop. And we will leave these videos in there only for a couple days. So definitely make sure that you head over there, commit to doing it live, and commit to going all in on building this trust. As Stefanie Gass said, it is all about building that trust so that you can learn to really develop a warm market. Once you have that warm market, then it's not going to feel salesy whenever you finally solve. So once you learn exactly what she needs, you're going to be able to create it, and she will actually be coming to you to get the thing that she needs. All right, guys, I'm so excited for you, and I will meet you over there. Check out the show notes if you'd like a link. And in the meantime, just want to wish you joy and abundance, Angel.